press. Oh, y'all can't hear me? Okay. So this is a press-only event. So we have Rdcworld here. We are missing Leland and Ben because they are at the gaming hall. But we're going to open it for questions. Please be mindful. We have about 30 minutes. The boys have not ate yet. So we definitely want to feed them before they go on the court to hoop.
As you can see.
Yes. And so we're going to get started with this. I believe y'all all kind of came up with an order. Okay, so we're going to just honor that order. Rapid questions, just, again, be mindful. If you hear a question that's already kind of been asked, let's skip to the next one so we can make sure to get all this set up. So thank y'all.
All right, first up, this is all some of the press people from Dreamcon. We all here to ask y'all questions and say what's up and everything.
What's up, everybody? Thank y'all.
Yeah. All right, so first up, we got Miami News Times.
That's a clean fit.
Thank you. My name is Cleveland. I write for the Miami New Times, and my first question is, just like you, Issa Rae, who you've been working with for Dark Lights and Michael B. Jordan, is known to also build things from the ground up. She also has multiple endeavors, such as a coffee shop. What have you learned from her entrepreneurship?
What have I learned from her? I mean, well, first of all, I learned how to run a production company from her because I'm always up at theirs, seeing how they run things and move around. I really like the fact that it doesn't really feel like you're at a company. It feels like you're just at a place that's genuine and with friends, and y'all are trying to make the best, quality content or, movies or TV shows that you can make, And I feel like at some companies you walk in, they got the parking and all that extra stuff. But in hers, like, yeah, she got closed off, the studio and everything. But when you walk in there, it just feel like it's a family in there working together. You know what I'm saying? To really get something out. And it makes sense because she's always in, good quality movies and TV shows, And all her people in her department are very relatable. And I think that really helps them continue to be successful.
Now, working with Michael B. Jordan, like what advice have they given you that you implement for your own team?
Well, that's still on Issa Rae's. Issa Rae's president, Montreal, he helps me a lot, man. He calls me like every other week just to help me with how to deal with kind of transitioning from social media content to TV shows and movies while still doing social media content, and most of the advice is really just keep having the hunger to create, because that's what they have. They have the hunger still. No matter how successful they get, they love what they're doing. They have passion for what they're doing, So I really think that is what they've taught me, because like when you see them, and how successful Issa Rae is, but when you see her work, she's still working the exact same way. I ain't seen her beforehand, but I'm sure she's still working in the exact same way she was beforehand. You know what I'm saying? And she's very nice and kind to everybody and shows us all love and direction.
Cool. Now, one more question. Now, she started her YouTube channel with Awkward Black Girl. Do you feel like you see yourself within her?
For sure. I feel like, and she came in at a great time. Like just when she made Awkward Black Girl, that got her a good transition over to HBO. I feel like we've been doing really the same thing, And we've had chances to go to Hollywood, but we want to do it in the right way, in a way that feels authentic to Rdcworld, and not just go because somebody offered something. Right. You know what I'm saying? I really want to make an impact on the world consistently, And just like we did with content, I want to do it on movies.
What's good, bro? Young Deuces from the Geek podcast.
How you doing?
Doing great, bro. All right, so the great thing about Dreamcon and what you guys have created, you guys helped a lot of people like realize their tribe and realize the stuff that they love in that brotherhood and sisterhood. So I always like to ask, like, we have that blurred awakening and you have like a nerd awakening. Like, so you nerd awakening, you love this culture. Blurred awakening was when you first start seeing yourself in this culture. What was the moment that you like really started seeing yourself in the culture and felt empowered to continue to do what you guys do?
I mean, I know mine. I guess I know mine. Well, my blurred. I feel like whenever I guess like growing up and watching like anime and things like that, I never really associated that with like nerd, like to be a nerd or whatever. I was just kind of just doing it. But I feel like the moment I remember when I was like before I met REC, like when I first started watching things like When People Take Anime Too Far, the first one is the first time I was like, I just saw it was just randomly. It's like something I never seen before. I seen it and I was like, I don't say the word, but niggas are really doing stuff like that? Black people in this situation like this crazy. It had numbers and everything, and it's like something that was just completely foreign to me. So I was like, oh wow. And I was like looking in the comments, and everybody showing love though. And so I was like, we good. So I feel like it kind of boosted my confidence from there. And then from there, I feel like I started seeing a lot more stuff. So I feel like that was like my moment where I really, I was in the suburbs, so I didn't really like my friend groups was really mixed a lot. So it was just like it was just cool to see something like just different like that. I remember that moment for sure.
Up next, we got Black Ramen Podcast. Hit it with the
Yeah. Okay, real quick, I want to plug this in. I'm sorry, guys. That's our buttons. Black Ramen Podcast
Thank
from
you.
New York.
That's
We
actually
appreciate
hard.
you guys. We
Very
appreciate
hard.
you. You get one too. Thank you. Okay, so when you guys were at Anime NYC last year, you just should I stand? Hi, y'all. Yeah. So when y'all was at Anime NYC last year, y'all presented a film that y'all was doing, a project with Issa Rae. So I was wondering, how is the writer's strike affecting you?
All the way. I was very mad at that. And sorry, I'm sorry, y'all.
She asked you a question only you could have answered.
No,
So
I feel like, when you about to make a big breakthrough, things go wrong. And I guess the writer's strike was what I feel like went wrong during this process of while we're writing HBO shows. Because, first of all, it takes a long time. And I feel like we was just now getting momentum, like a lot of it, with HBO and the Issa Rae's team and Michael B. Jordan's team. But right when we started, and we, successfully got the animatic done, got everything done, it goes on break,
Yeah, and I feel like that's just like, it's crazy because that momentum is something that kind of got lost when COVID came. So you're like, all right, you're finally getting back, and then bam, another thing.
Exactly.
Damn, it's
And we
crazy.
lost that momentum because of COVID the first time, and the second time this time. So I know, I'm trying to take a look at it in a good perspective, which is like, okay, sometimes bad things happen, but eventually when this project does get released, I really do think it's gonna affect a lot of people. And it's still going good though. I'm working on the manga as it's going. It's just that the anime has stopped pretty much completely. Until they, I guess, come to a understanding over there, whatever they're doing.
All right, has it forced you to change any contracts as of late?
No, not right now. I mean, the contracts are just standing still right now. But my agents and stuff really haven't updated me on much besides just continue to do what you're doing and put out different content and all that type of stuff. But everything in Hollywood is just really just everybody kind of just waiting around unless you're striking, which, I'll be striking, but I'm in Texas, you know what I'm saying? They be striking like that for real in LA.
You got too much in Texas, I hear you.
Yeah, especially, not here. But, besides that, I feel like things are still going. I'm just trying to find ways to keep things going, on our side, without the other people.
All right, I do have one more question, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So with Dreamcon, it's also worldwide, it's being known as like the Black Con, right? which I love. Are y'all gonna keep it like the Black Con, or is it like for everybody?
On Google, it literally says, are only black people allowed to go to Dreamcon?
That is,
And I feel like that's ridiculous. Like, just because there's a lot of black people. We're a predominantly black group, Dylan. You know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? And still, some people think Dylan black. So, at the end of the day, yeah, of course, the supporters of Dreamcon are mostly going to be black, But, because I'm sure a lot of people see themselves in us at some point in their life. But no, it's not a black con. And we're not trying to keep it, all black. You know what I'm saying? I am welcoming of all races. You know what I'm saying? We are welcoming of all races.
we cool with just being the majority. It's cool. We can be 80%. You know what I'm
Black,
saying?
yeah.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's cool. You're not gonna turn around because it's really all the subscribers and followers. It's very diverse. So we welcome all fans. So I feel like that's always gonna keep it in rotation. And it's good to have them other races come and support us in a way. You feel me? And closer to changing the world. I feel like it's good.
Facts.
Good direction.
I agree.
You 1 year.
I didn't know what was going on.
I didn't know what was going on.
Vanya Hub Taku here. First and foremost, shout out to Black Ramen for having the idea of bringing out gift things. We have stuff for you when this is all said and done as well. Some plush.
Appreciate it.
And the reason we wanted to bring this up is because, John, you specifically at the opening panel, that jersey's absolutely fire. I want to talk
thank you.
about
Appreciate
branding.
you.
So, like, how does that work between the 5 of y'all, the 7 of y'all, when it comes to, like, Dreamcon's branding or just RDC's branding in general? Is this something like a committee? Do you outsource? Or do you have any advice for people who are looking to, you know, up their branding themselves?
Yeah, I mean, I think at the very beginning, like whenever like me and Mark would talk about the stages, I really would just test the stuff out myself, and they were trash. I'm not gonna lie. So I realized early that I said I should, instead of trying to do that, I should just try to find like somebody that does it as their job, and then just kind of pass it to the team. Say, hey, look, how y'all feel about this, and then just get feedback. Because obviously, I want us all to like this thing. So that's kind of really just how it happened. I ain't gonna lie. And then going forward, like it's not even just that's not really me specifically. You know, we have designated workers who work in that area who work with a whole bunch of different brands and companies that do that. So it's just more like, hey, look, can you make something like this? Shows it, and then yeah. And I feel like for anyone that's trying to like create an identity for their brand, I mean, they should just look into drafting different ideas, even if it's trash. Like like whenever I was first like trying to like come up with some stuff to present to Mark, I was like just drawing stuff, and I'm like, all right, somebody can make this a cleaner version of this. It just gives my brain on this paper, so then they can make it, and then I can show it to Mark. Like I feel like it's the same thing. So yeah,
That's my one. Thank you.
okay.
Hey, fellas, Augustine, Spectrum News 1 Texas. John
What's
was in our
good?
studio Monday. Appreciate you coming out. Y'all
Yes,
are
sir.
hard to get together at one time, so y'all are very busy. I recognize that. Real dreams change the world. So I can tell that you've achieved a lot of your dreams. What have you changed in the world?
Ooh, I mean, honestly, if you ask me, I would say we changed, a few things at least. And that's one thing is just helping people be themselves. I feel like that's definitely one thing that we've accomplished, because just the sheer amount of people that come up saying that we help them be themselves, I really think that that's like always one of our goals, because a lot of times that's exactly how you achieve your dreams, by being yourself and loving what you do. And I think so many people have a say-so in what other people, become in life. Like your parents might be like, oh no, become this, and you be like, I kind of want to become this, but like in your head though. Mm-hmm. And I think that seeing some young men on YouTube do something that was out of the ordinary might give you that same confidence to go try and do it yourself. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be content creation. If you want to be an astronaut, go be an astronaut. You know what I'm saying? And just know that you can do that. You don't have to be whatever anybody's telling you to be. It's your life. So I think that's one thing that we changed for sure.
My name is Tony from Otaku.
Mm-hmm.
I had a question about disagreements. So how do you guys handle disagreements amongst yourselves or the crew?
It's possible.
I mean, we just like, let's just say we're coming up with a video, like we'll give each and everybody's like points, and like once like we just see like who has the strongest point, we basically just be like, oh yeah, that's valid, you know what I mean? And then once like we get that valid point, we just go and achieve it. It's really not that deep. We're not gonna like, man, oh, I hate you or something like that, you know what I mean? But like, we basically come to like an understanding like every time, because we all trying to reach the same goal. So we're not gonna like, hold a grudge just because we disagree with one another or anything like that.
I just want to add one thing. I think one thing that like it took us a while to get was to really be transparent when it comes to disagreements like that, because you might just not want to say something just to hurt somebody's feeling, but when we all get to the same, like we're all trying to get, like you said, to the same goal, and that kind of hindered us for a while. So I guess just to add on to that, transparency is what's key when it comes to disagreements, because it's like we all trying to come to the same conclusion.
Yeah, thanks. Brandon from Analytical. My main question is, when you see a lot of influencers and content creators crash out online because they get besmirched by their fan base, what tip would you give them to kind of regulating criticism on their brand or creations, but also not saying something that would like drive people away from wanting to work with them in the future?
Oh, that's a great question. I mean, we still deal with that right now. But the best advice I can give somebody that, if you saying basically their fan base turned on them, kind of?
The fan base turn, you'll see kind of random things where somebody will have a point and their overall fan base is like, I don't really agree with that. And instead of just being like, all right, I'll hear y'all out, they're like, no, I'm going to double down and I'm going to crash out on here. Y'all getting 12 years back to back. And now the people who didn't even care, like, nah, we going over here to mute and block.
Yeah.
That was specific.
That was specific. So
Did that happen to you?
So you want advice for the person who did it?
For the person who crashed out, what would you tell them to stop that crashing?
I would tell them they don't have to respond to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, just, bro, silence is the you know, that's where your most power is. You feel me? Like, just because somebody said something I don't agree with, don't mean I gotta go give my point. You feel me? And why would I, like, even if I say something and most people don't agree with it, I'm not gonna double down. Like, I can still think it in my house. I can be like, oh, well, I believe this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lose my career over it.
Yeah.
And I think that's ego. And you gotta understand when your ego comes into play. And it's gonna happen to everybody. Sometimes you just do stuff because of ego, but that specific person you're talking about used a lot of ego.
I feel like there's a line between shut up and dribble and jumping on a soapbox and speaking out. Like, you don't have to be a politician, you feel me?
Facts.
And somewhere in between that is like, at the end of the day, if this is the field of content, you gotta put in the work. You can let your work represent what your actions are, but I mean, how I feel about it is, man, you don't have to talk about every issue, just like you said.
Yeah. And I think I think maybe you might respond more when you're not working a lot. So work more, and then you won't respond a lot.
No shade, no shade.
Get busy. You heard me. Get busy.
Next, we got Level 1 Gaming.
David with Level 1 Gaming. First, I want to say I appreciate y'all for keeping this thing in Texas. After y'all packed out Arlington last year, I thought this was a wrap for us out here. So I don't like to travel, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, sir.
Secondly, I interview a lot of smaller content creators, a lot of small video game developers, and they always run into the wall where they feel like I'm an imposter. And imposter syndrome is real, right? I want to ask you guys, what moment did you guys realize this is a real thing? Like, we really out here and we're really doing this, and the imposter syndrome is not a thing. We are famous. We are popular. We are doing something that nobody else is really doing.
I don't know what moment they got. I'm gonna say that it's a. I think that's just all confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, even because some days, you know, you might wake up and be like, dang, am I doing this as good as I used to, or this or this or this? And I just won't classify it as imposter syndrome. I would just classify it as like, am I feeling as confident today as I usually am? But if you want to say which moment I was like, oh, I feel like we're really big or something, I would say like probably like last year's Dreamcon or something, or 2 years Dreamcon ago, 2 Dreamcons ago. Because when you can bring people to a central location, that's when I think a lot of people care about you. You can have a big fan base online, and then nobody comes and shows you any love in real life. And if you do have a lot online and not much real life, you just got to find out how to connect and engage more with your fans. But I'm just saying, like, usually it was Dreamcon, and I don't know which exact one, but one of them made me feel like, okay, these people really really like us, you know.
And again, I appreciate y'all staying in Texas.
That's my number one goal. We wanted to do Waco. That's where we grew up at, but Waco is hard to get to.
Yeah.
You gotta get off a plane in Dallas or
direct
this
plane.
place, and you gotta drive like an hour and a half. And people is not trying to do that. They ain't love us that much. They only love us. They love us so much to take us flight, not a car ride after the flight. You know what I'm saying? So.
Hey, this is Bree this time from Black Ramen. So it's no secret you can look in the news and see that black people are kind of having a hard time in this country right now. So how do you guys, as prominent figures in the black nerd community, balance your job to create great content with the responsibility to kind of speak out and be a voice of the community?
Well, Dylan can't answer this. Because I think we talking about black people. Yeah, I mean, I never really agree with like everybody who gets famous is a prominent figure that gotta talk on every issue in the black community, because what if you're not educated on those issues in the black community? You know what I'm saying? And I think that just because your job has got you to this level doesn't mean you are qualified to address issues in the black community. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, like if I want to talk about something, I'm gonna just talk about it through whatever video I make, honestly. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll try to make a video and I'll try to put this message behind it, like Hood Avatar. Like, yeah, it sounds childish, but like in the video, you know, we're talking about like stop killing each other in the hood. You know what I'm saying? Stop. You know, there's other ways to progress through life than joining the gang and stuff. And just the same thing with Dark Lights, which is the anime I'm writing. Like it's a gang anime. It's about people get their powers when the sun goes down, but the kid who's the main character, he's forced into a gang, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And I'm really gonna talk about specifically. This ain't Tokyo Revengers because I don't know if that dude knew anything about gangs, but I do. You know what I'm saying? Not saying I was in a gang, y'all chill out. But like, I'm saying like just growing up in actual black communities and stuff, and seeing your friends join gangs and family members joining gangs and losing their lives and things like that. I feel like there's some messages I really want to portray through my work, but I might not be that well spoken to say it to people. So if
that's valid, using your work to portray it.
Yeah,
is that
like,
kind of your approach for it?
That's my approach for some pieces of content. I'm not gonna say because then someone can be like, well, I see what you was doing here. No. I was just saying it for like, if I want to put a message in a video, I will do that. But you ain't gonna catch me like tweeting about it. Like I'm just not, because it's too easy to misinterpret something, and I'm not gonna throw myself in the fire, because people are gonna look for things to mess up. Like they're just gonna look for where they feel like you didn't make sense or something. They'd be like, oh no, you said this, remember? It'll always be like that. So I just don't condone it. Oh yeah, and I think that answer was for all of RC. I don't know though.
Yeah,
for
sure. I for sure. I agree.
Pretty much,
yeah. Because like if you're not educated on it, there's no really reason to speak on stuff like that. So.
But it's a reason to get educated though.
Yeah,
I'll say
exactly,
that.
exactly.
Like if I see an issue, I really will look it up and be like, I see. Like, but I'll say something on Twitch stream about just something very out, like to the side, like, hey guys, don't kill each other. But like, I'm not gonna go in activist mode like that. You know what I'm saying? But through my family and them, I will be trying to help them out, because helping one person is the same as helping 1,000 people, because that one person can help this person, help this person, help this person. You know?
Yo. I'm Kevin from Urban Anime Lounge. So this is like my third or fourth Dreamcon, and I see like the same faces all the time, because we met like 50 times. Sure. I'm always on like the back end, so I see familiar faces every year. How's it been working with the Dreamcon staff, like all this time, especially as we go into year 5? Like, what's your thoughts on working with them?
Well, y'all are amazing. Y'all, I'm telling you, like y'all are very helpful. Like y'all very thoughtful for our RDC needs whenever we need it. And like I'd be like, oh man, I just want some chips or something like right now. Somebody be like, start running. I'd be like, bro, chill. It's all good.
He said that was me.
I said, bro, I appreciate you though. So the staff, they've been very helpful during these Dreamcons whenever we need them. So. I don't know.
No, I agree. The staff has been great. Each year, like, we've grown significantly, and we've been able to just, like, even for myself, like being inside the group in the house and doing that, and then trying to balance between the other side. Like, the staff has like got to know me so well, and they know I'm capping or not. They know, okay, all right, I'm gonna say, oh yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then somebody will just go do it for me anyway, or they'll be like, all right, he's not gonna do it, or. They might give me one chance, and then the second time, all right, he playing. So like just kind of like learning each other's tendencies, and like just seeing them. Like I said, everybody came in and people were just supporting like on their own. Like we had nothing. At the very beginning, we had no money, nothing like that. We were just like, hey, can y'all help us just based off of just believing in the band? That is all. And you know, we're building up, and like we definitely truly wouldn't be able to do it without them. So
I really think we need them more than they need us, honestly. For real. You know, so it's more so like they do their job so well that sometimes I don't even be like noticing this. Like things are going so well because I'm always focused on the problems, but things are really going so well, and it's all because of them. So thank you to our staff as usual.
Oh yeah, shout out Director Trish over here. Dr. Trish. Yeah. She put this all together, yo.
Yeah, we love it. No, we love it. We love it. See, like things like that. Amazing.
Exactly, thoughtful.
And that goes with the whole sports team, like you said. We got basketball, first time ever for Dreamcon. They about to do that 5-on-5.
Yeah, so no, let me practice.
And eat.
I did want to put this together with our bigger guests, just to give y'all a chance to have that one-on-one time in some capacity. So I really appreciate that. We will continue with the other press conferences. And yes, I'm Trish. I'm your contact. So thank you, RDC.